Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you guys a whole lot for subscribing to my YouTube channel, for all of the support you guys have given to me. I appreciate it. I actually do not take it for granted. Yeah, I actually seriously don't. So if you are new to my channel, this is the first time of you coming across Stylish Naija YouTube channel, I would appreciate if you will hit on the subscribe button just on the side, and then you can hit on the notification bell also to get an update whenever I upload a new video. That's just like basically the essence of hitting on that bell to get notified. Okay, so before I continue, today I'm actually going to be showing you how to cut and sew a side peplum gore blouse. You could call it a gore blouse. So you see the picture up here. That's what we're going to be doing. A trendy, okay, I always like using trendy. A trendy side gore peplum blouse. That's what I'm going to show you how to actually cut and sew today. Okay, so I'm going to be making use of my bustier pattern. So you can use any pattern of your choice. You can decide, you can even make it as a flat if you don't want to add a bustier to it. You can do that. Okay, so if you want to register for my online classes, so you could see my number scrolling through the screen, you can send me a message on WhatsApp, and then I'll send you the details of the available classes. Presently, I have 4 classes. I have the beginners class, the intermediate, the corset, and then the ready to wear. Those of you that want to go into the ready to wear business, so how to finish your ready to wear perfectly, and then how to create your size chart for you to be able to sell, because if they are not properly finished, the truth is you will not sell. That's just like basically the truth. Okay, so let's just get straight into the tutorial. Okay, for those of you, you can follow me on Instagram at Stylish Naija. I normally drop notifications of my videos there. Also, in case you miss any tutorial here on YouTube, just follow me on Instagram, Stylish Naija, and then you will be seeing my videos also there. Okay guys, so you see I finished cutting out my pattern. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'll just go and join them together. So you notice on my pattern, though it has neckline, but I've not added the neckline, so I'm going to go and join them. So you cut out your lining also, so I'm going to join them from the top to the bottom, and then I'll bring it back, and then we'll start working on the neckline. We need to curve out the neckline before we continue, so I'll just do that right now. Okay guys, so welcome back. So I finished stitching my front piece and the back piece, so I'm just going to leave the back piece on the side, and now let's work on the neckline. So for this kind of neckline, if you notice on one part of it, it's actually a floating neckline. So here's what we are going to do now. You are going to determine how much this neckline, you're actually going to cut it open, but you need to unfold it to measure first. So you are going to determine the width that you want to use for the neckline. That's for the neck width. So for the neck width, I think I would do about 3.5 is okay. You could do 4 inches. So this is 3.5, that's the width. So this is just going to help me as a guide. So I'm just going to take it like this, and then I'll put a notch here. So this is a notch now, so I know that I'm not going to exceed that width. So the next thing I'm going to do now, open up the blouse. This is the front, the blouse. That's the center, the front. So and then I'm going to measure the length. Depends. So you notice that the one part of it is actually a V neckline. So you are going to determine how deep you actually want the neckline to be. So for this, I'm going to use about 7 inches, or you could do 8 inches. So it depends on how deep you actually want the neckline to be. So I'm just trying to see. I don't want it to be too deep, and I don't. So okay, 7.5. So I'm just going to mark my 7.5 here, and then from this 7.5 points like this, I'm going to create out my V neckline. So you see my V neckline is going to get to the 7.5 points like this. So this is my 7.5 neckline. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut out the V. I'm going to cut out the V part of my neckline. I'll cut it out first before I create out the other part. So just to make it simple for you. So I'm going to do this now. So I've cut out the front neckline, so I'm going to open it back again. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to float out the side towards the armhole part. So for this, you can just use this as a guide. So if you want this part of it to be a little bit higher, you can actually determine, or you can just determine that. So for this, I don't want to just cut it straight like this. It's not going to be fine. So from this neckline point like this, I'm just going to come to the dart lines like this. I'm just going to come up. So this is my neckline. I'm going to come up by, let me say, this is the neckline. So I'm going to come up by 2 inches. So from this 2 inches point now, this is what I'm going to do. I just want to use my hand to do it so you not see. So I'm going to curve it into the neckline part like this. And then from this point, I'm just going to curve it into my armhole line like this. So you see, to enter into my armhole. So I need a curve on this part. So this will come into this point. So I'm trying to explain because I want you to really get it. That is why I'm trying to explain like this. So that's that for the neckline. See, it is really simple and easy. So I'm going to cut this, and then before I place it on the back. So I've cut it out. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this now, place it with the back. So you see the back part, you need to open both of them up before you cut out the back. So for the back neckline, I'm just going to do a regular floating shoulder because you're not going to cut a V at the back. So you're just going to mark this point for you to know where the width of the neckline is. After marking this point, and then you are going to float it to the armhole part. So I hope you can see. So this is the armhole part. You just use this as a guide. So this is what we are doing. We're just going to float this like this now. We're just going to float it like this. So make sure you open both of them like this before you do, or else you are going to run into a problem. So you float it to this shoulder part, and then I'm going to cut out. So this is how the back is going to look like. And then this is the front piece. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and join my working piece. I'll join the shoulder and then join my side before we come back and cut out the Gore part. That's the peplum that we're going to attach on the side. Okay guys, so I finished joining my on the shoulder, and then I've joined the side. So I've added my back darts on my blouse. So I've added everything, and then I've joined. So you see the way the back neckline is looking. So this is how you are not going to cut the back. The back is not going to have that curve. So I want you to take note. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to, we're going to measure where we're going to add our peplum. So for the down part of the blouse, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start from about 1 inch because I'm going to fold. When I turn my blouse with my lining, I'm going to get short on 1 inch. So I'm just going to leave that 1 inch down before I continue. So the next thing now, you are going to measure. So this is my center line. So the good thing is I have a line on it due to ironing, so I can see the center. You are going to determine how wide you want, as in that's the space you want in between before your peplum will start. From that's the Gore part, how you want it to be. So for this, I think I'm going to do about 3 inches. I'm just trying to check it to see. So I think I'm going to do about 3 inches. You could do 4 inches, so it depends. So I'll do, I'm just trying to check. I think, okay, let me do 4 inches. 4 inches is okay. So that means what I'm going to do now, I'm going to fold. This is the center part, so I'm going to fold like this, and then I'm going to measure 2 inches. So this is my 2 inches. I'm just ruling it. So I'm trying to put a line so I will know. So once you know it's on fold. So this is what I'm going to have. This is the space that I'm going to have in between. So from this point, I'm just going to still fold my blouse like this, and then you are going to measure where you actually want the curve to be. That's where you want to place it. So for this part, you can decide to place it on the underbust. My underbust is actually 13 inches, so it's going to be too high. So I think I'm going to do about, I think let me do 15 inches. So this is actually 15 inches. I had to start marking on the right side because I want you to see it. So I decided to just mark on the right side. So this is 15 inches like this now. From this 15 inches, what you are going to do, you are just going to, you can use a cup, but I just want to use my free hand. So you're just going to rule like this. You remember this straight line that we put, you're just going to rule it like this to this point like this. So you see what we're having now. It's looking like a triangle. So you have a curve right here now. If you want it higher, you can go up. Depends on how high you actually want it to be. So I think I just went up by ½ an inch more. So that means I'm using about 14.5. So from this point now, so I've curved out this side. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to come to this side also, and then I'll place here like this, and then I'll measure the 14.5 again also from this point like this. So I already have that line that I did here, and then from this point I'm just going to curve it like this. Let it come, let it enter into this line like this. So we're going to check everything before we continue. So you're going to check the distance between this part. So on this part I have about 6.5. That's from here, the side seam, that's from this side seam to this side seam. So and then you are going to check, so both of them, they correspond well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm trying to make sure it is looking good and all neat out. So you make sure you check everything before you continue. Check the length, that's from this point to where it is. You check it, and then you check, you know this one has one shoulder, so you check, and then you make sure you check on this side also. Just make sure you're checking everything, and then the curve, make sure that the curve is the same. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to open on my zipper allowance part because it's coming to this side also. So from the back piece, from the center also, I'm going to measure 3 inches, just like what we did for the back piece. We are going to measure 3 inches on the allowance part also. Okay, sorry, 2 inches, that's what we use, 2 inches. So I'm going to roll it up like this also. So from this point like this, you are going to connect from this point. So you see how I'm placing my dress, how I'm placing my blouse. So I'm placing it like this now. This is the side now. So what you are going to do now, you're just going to maintain this curve like this. Let it come into this point like this. You remember this one like this. So let it come into this point. You see what we have now. We're not cutting it off. We're just going to stitch our peplum like this on top. So you stitch it, you just join it together, you make sure that they are the same, and then you turn the other side also. So okay, see this part now, I did not measure that 2 inches, so you make sure you measure it. I'm just trying to explain so much. And then from this side also you curve. So you see our blouse. So at the end of the day, this is what we are going to measure. Now we're going to measure this part, that's from here now. I'm going to measure this part, that's what I'm going to use to cut out my peplum. That's going to be the round of my peplum. So what I have here, I have 21 inches. You measure the second one also. So we're cutting out on 21. So you can divide that by 6.28, or you can decide to use the freehand method. So I'm going to cut out my peplum now. The waist of the peplum is going to be 21 inches. So I'm cutting out 2. If you want to double it, you cut out 4. So it depends on what you actually want. So I'm just going to fold my fabric now, and then I'm going to cut. Okay guys, so what we are going to do now, in order for us to know how to cut out our peplum, so you could see this is my regular peplum. In order for you to know how to cut it out, here's what you are going to do. You are going to measure this part like this. So you are going to turn your dress like this, and then you are going to measure from, remember the 1 inch that we are going to use to fold it, and then you are going to measure like this to this point like this. So on this part I have about 20 inches, and then I'm going to start from this part also, just to make sure it corresponds. So you see I have about 20 inches also. So I'm going to cut out my peplum now. It's going to be 20 inches. So I already folded my peplum. So you cut it however you cut your peplum. that's the waist of your peplum, that's this top part of your peplum. You are going to cut it, let it be 20 inches. That's because that's what you are going to fix on this part. So for this, I'm going to cut out 2. So I actually want 2 of them on top of each other, so I want it to be 2 steps. So I'm cutting out 2 steps. And then for the length of the peplum, you are going to determine how much length you want. So for mine, the biggest one of mine, I have about 6.5 inches. So I'm just going to open mine like this now. I'll open up the top part of my peplum now. So at the end of the day, so you see, it's going to start like this and then it's going to end on the other side. So I'll open it up now. I'll open it up. So you are going to determine how long you want it to be. You remember, we're not cutting off this part. We're just going to sew it on top of it. So you cut them all out, and then after cutting out, I'm going to go and join. So if you want your peplum, if you want it to stand firm, you can decide to double it, as in that's this part you cut out to, and then sew and double it. You can decide to add interfacing like gum stay on it, so to make it firm. But mine, I don't want it, my fabric is already stiff enough. So I think I like it that way. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to open this up also. So I already mark what I want. So you make sure that the waist, make sure that the top parts, they are the same. And then I'm going to go and stitch both of them together. So I'll open up this part now. You just open on one side like this. So you see what I have at the end of it. You see how beautiful it is looking. It's going to sit. So you see, it's going to sit like this and then come to this part. So if you want to pleat it, you can decide to make it a little bit longer so you can pleat if you want that effect. So it depends on what you want. So I'm going to open this up now, and then I'll go and place both of them together and join them together, and then I'll come back and show you how to actually fix it on it. Okay guys, so you see I've opened up my blouse. So you open it up from the zipper allowance part now. So the next thing, I'm going to show you how you are going to fix. So you see I've stitched the 2 of them together because I'm doing double. So like I said, if you want to turn with your lining, you can actually do that. So me, once I'm done, I'm going to use an overlock seam to lock out the edges of my peplum. So here is how you are going to fix it. You are going to take this part like this. This is the top, and then you are going to start fixing from this point like this. So you are going to fix it from the inside. You sew it on the wrong side, so I'm just going to use this to illustrate. And then you are going to navigate your curve with your peplum. You're just going to navigate it to the end. So you see it got to the end, and then you are going to stop there. And then also, so the down part of my blouse is already neatly folded out, and then you take the second piece also, and then you do the same thing. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you how to cut this tiny strap sleeve that is on it. So let me do that right now. Okay guys, so you see my blouse is looking, side peplum blouse is looking so beautiful. So I've joined the back. So this is how the back looks like, just the way the front is, the same gap, the same space. So you see my peplum, it is standing where I like it. So the next thing that I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to cut that sleeve. So I've not added my zipper yet, so I'll show you how to cut the sleeve right now. So let me just get my fabric. Okay guys, so you see our blouse now, we are almost done. So the next thing that is remaining now is for us to add the sleeves to it, and then add our zipper behind. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut out a strap. This is just like a tiny strap, not very tiny though. I'm not going to use that word tiny. Cut out a strap that we are going to use. So in cutting this, I'm going to draft it on my pattern paper first before I transfer on my fabric. So you are going to determine how long you actually want it to be. So for this, I'm going to use about 2 inches. I'm going to use 2 inches for the sleeve, and then for the width, that's the round of the sleeve, you are going to determine that. So for this, for the round of the sleeve, that's like the round sleeve measurement, I'm going to use about 12 inches. So but I'm going to make it 14 because I need allowance. So I'm going to mark it on this point like this. So this is like 14 here. And then for the down part, you notice it is not really a straight sleeve. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come, my pattern paper is going to, my pattern curve is going to work here for me. So I'm just going to place like this. So I'm coming to this point now for my 12 inches. I'm just trying to navigate like a bend. Okay, so you see the bend. So the next thing now is the down one. So for the down, for this part now, I'm using 2 inches. So for this part, I'll just increase it to about 2.3 or 2.5. So I'm just going to curve it like this down to this point, and then I'll use my pattern curve again to try to get that curve, that nice curve. Okay, so I think this one is better. So it fits properly. So from this point now, this is the part I'm going to attach. So I'm just going to cut now. So you can actually put any sleeve of your choice. So you see what I have. So at the end of the day, so you see how it is looking. So that's what I'm going to use. I'll transfer it on my fabric now. I'll cut it out on my remaining fabric. I'm almost short on fabric. I'm just going to try to maximize or minimize. Don't know the right word to use. Okay guys, so you could see this is the final look of our side and peplum blouse. So like I said, for this part, if you want it to, so because my fabric is standing, it is a strong Ankara, so I decided not to double it. So I left it that way. So if you are using a fabric that is not too strong, you can decide to double it, and then you can iron interfacing on it to make it stand very well. You can even add a crinoline to it. You can actually do that. So for the neckline, I just finished it up with an applique, and then for the side and sleeve, so I decided not to make use of that the sleeve that I cut out. I decided to just use a fancy applique since it is like a strap. So this will work better. It will bring it out nicely. So when you put it on, you're just going to, my mannequin does not have sleeve hands, so you just put your hand through this point. It will be so beautiful. And then for this other side, so I just decorated it with an applique. So guys, if you find this video helpful, I would appreciate if you will hit on the like button to make me know you appreciate what I did. And if you have not subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe, like my video, share my video with your friends, and follow me on Instagram so you can get notification of my videos. Just search Stylish Naija on Insta. You will see me. So thank you so much. God bless you and have a blessed day.